Hi everyone, it's Nicole and I'm here with another layout. Now, I'm going to do real time because we have a bit of chatting to get in there. So we are going to be doing a layout real time, which lately I find I've been doing a lot anyway, because then once I'm done the layout, I don't have to do a voiceover, and it does save a lot of bit of time. And right now I'm a little bit short on time. So I'm going to do real time and then I'll be able to post this today. This is a page kit that I had put together with you guys, and now it's time to start making pages. I grabbed this photo because when I looked at the embellishments, it was, let's get lost. Actually, I can. And so I'm going to do a page on Mount Washington, and what a challenge that was. And I hope with all my heart that we get to do that again. Now, I think the last time I uploaded was actually a week ago, and quite a few things happened since last week. Last Thursday, I woke up and I started a cough. And as the day progressed, the cough got worse. And then I ended up with a headache and a stuffy nose. So that's 3 symptoms for COVID. And I was working the next day, which if I wasn't working, I would have just stayed home and see if the symptoms were going to get worse or whatever. I wouldn't have gone out. I wouldn't have gone, which we haven't been doing that anyway. I think we went, and that's why I was kind of like, ooh, because we did go to the dollar store to get stuff for our trailer because we want to start camping and stuff. And so I went to get baskets for my trailer. And I don't know, hopefully they start limiting the number of people in the store. But it was ridiculous, the number of people in the store, and most people weren't wearing masks. We were, my husband and I were, but that protects other people, not us. So when I started the symptoms, then I, because I was going to work, I didn't want to be, the person that took down 911 kind of thing, So I called at 11:30 at night. I called 811 and told them what was going on, told them exactly. I said, when it started, and then my headache stopped for a bit and the stuffy nose, and then it started again. And they said, well, do you have allergies? And I said, I've never had allergies, but I mean, who knows, right? I mean, I could start allergy that day. I don't know. So they said, because you do have 3 symptoms, you're going to need to come in for a test. I was like, absolutely, because I don't want to put my coworkers at risk. And 911. So this was at 11 o'clock at night. So I called work and told them that I had to go for the COVID test. And then they called me at 9 o'clock in the morning the next day. One person. And then they said a nurse will call you very shortly. So I hung up with the first person at 9:10 or something, 9:05. It wasn't long with the first person. It was just like your address and that kind of stuff. And then when the nurse called, I ended up on the phone with him for maybe 10 minutes. And it was 9:30 at that point. And then he said, what time can you come in? I said, I can come in anytime. Because I knew the earlier that I could get the test done, the earlier I would get my results, and then I could go to work the next day if it was negative. And so he said, well, we'll put you for 10:30 because you live in, 30 minutes away. And I said, absolutely. And so I just basically hung up and went right away. I got there at 10:10. So I was 20 minutes early for my appointment. And here it's a drive-through. So I got up to the first person, and then he called in and he said, are you ready for Nicole Jones? And they said, send her right. And I told him to say that my appointment was at 10:30, that I was early. But they said, send her right in. You drive in. It's like basically like a big garage, but it's like our old Coliseum. It's on the Agrina side, I think they call it. And drove up. First person came, just confirmed who I was, had to show my Medicare card. And then the nurse came and did the test. And when she was done, she said, did that hurt a lot? And I said, well, I felt worse, but it wasn't pleasant. Like, it wasn't pleasant. And then it wasn't fun. But I have felt worse. All the tests that I've done in my lifetime when I had cancer and stuff, those tests were pretty hard, some of those tests that I had to go through. So, but it was no fun, for sure. And ended up with a major headache after, which I already had a headache, but it just made it like 10,000 times worse. At that point, I basically had lost my voice from the coughing. And so like I told the nurse, I said, I don't have a sore throat, like a sore throat, but it's irritated from all the coughing. And I said, I keep losing my voice. And he said, well, I didn't figure that was your normal voice. Like, it was really croaky. And anyway, so I did the test. It's really well, done. They give you a sheet. You log in online. You got your own little number. So as soon as I got home, I logged in. I had to segregate myself from the rest of my family. So I had, thankfully, off my bedroom, there's a bathroom. So I didn't have to even leave my room. So my husband would come and leave stuff. Like, he would feed me because I couldn't, I couldn't cook for anybody. And they didn't have to be segregated, but they did it anyway, just in case, just to be responsible. And they stayed home. And I checked all day. I called work at 3 o'clock and I said, I still haven't gotten my results. So he said, well, I'll wait till 5 and then we'll start doing a call out for your shift for tomorrow. I said, well, I'm going to keep looking every hour. So every hour on the hour. So like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I would always check. And I thought, well, I'll check till 9 because I have to get up at 4:30. I'll check till 9 and then, I'll go to bed and then I'll get up. I'll set my alarm at 5 o'clock in the morning and I'll check at 5. But at 9 o'clock, I'm like, oh, I'll just stay up till 10 and I'll check at 10. And at 10 o'clock, the results were there. And it was negative. So I called work right away and I said, I can go in tomorrow. It's negative. So then I got up and went to work. I still had a cough. My headache was gone. And the cough was off and on. It wasn't as bad as the first few days. And as long as I stayed hydrated and took like cough drops and stuff, it was fine. I don't think I'm going to use this because there's all this for journaling. So I don't know why I'm cutting that off. So it was, an intense 24 hours. But, and then I worked my 3 days. It was supposed to be 2 days, 1 night. This just kind of stuck there, and I kind of like it. I might move it just a little bit. Oh, maybe not. It just ripped it. It just kind of stuck there, so I'm like, I kind of like it. So I'm going to leave it there. And then on my second day shift, at the end of the day, one of the guys that I work with, he was like, oh, I wish I was working tomorrow night and not tomorrow day. And I turned around because I was going to ask him if he wanted to trade, but I didn't want to be a pain in the butt, you know, like always ask people to trade because I prefer day shifts. They are harder, like they're harder on the head because it's so busy at nighttime. After a certain time, you know, it does slow down quite a bit. So it's easier on the brain at night, but it's way harder on my body. Like I cannot do night shifts anymore. It just takes me out for like, man, almost a week now. Like it really, really does. So when he said that, I was like, oh, do you want to turn around? Or do you want to turn around? Do you want to switch? And he's like, yeah. So I ended up working days on Monday instead of night, which it was super busy. But at 6 o'clock, I was so happy because then now I'm off till July 1st, till Canada Day. And yesterday, I didn't feel like I kind of wasted a day. I wanted to do a page for YouTube, but I just had so much stuff to do. You know, you've been working for 3 days, and then I lost Friday too because I wasn't allowed to get out of my room. So I had to get our camper ready because we're going camping this weekend. And then, you know, I had laundry to do and just cleaning to do. So, and I'm still working on my class. So I have to make sure that I get at least, you know, the one page done a day because I want the class done for next week. So that's my goal. And it looks like I'm going to be able to achieve that goal because I'm almost done. And, so I'm excited about that. That'll be one thing accomplished. Okay, let's see. I kind of like that. I like this, the believe in yourself, because that was quite an accomplishment, right? Climbing Mount Washington is not a small feat. It was 4 hours that year. It took us 4 hours to go up and 5 hours to go down because I ended up injuring my knee on the way down on a rock. So every time that I would step, it would feel like there was a shock of electricity going through my knee, which as soon as we got down at the bottom of the hill, as soon as I wasn't doing that, because when you go downhill, it's hard on the knees to begin with. But as soon as we got down the hill, my knee wasn't hurt anymore. Like it wasn't doing that electricity shock thing anymore. My toes were a different story, but my knees were okay. Okay, so I like that. Beauty of simplicity. It totally goes with these pictures. So let's get lost, which, you know, we probably, actually goes really well. Oh, sorry. It actually goes really well because I just remembered when we went down, we got to this sign. The kids were ahead of us because I hurt my knee. So they said, well, we just want to, you know, they were over it at that point because it was a 9-hour hike at, you know, it ended up being. So they said, we'll just go down and we'll just sit by the truck. Well, we got to this T section, and it said railroad this way and parking this way. Well, we had parked at the railroad. They went to the parking. And I said to my husband, I said, oh, why do I know that they went that way? Why? You know, they probably should have waited there. They were all adults though, right? Like, it's not like they were kids at that point. But anyway, I'm like, how far do you think it is to that parking? He said, probably 45 minutes. And I said, how far do you think it is to the parking where we actually parked? And he said, probably about 10. I said, well, the way my knee is and my toes are feeling right now, I'm not doing 45 minutes. So I said, we'll go to the car and then or to the SUV, and then we'll drive down to where they are. Or I said, maybe they'll be at the truck by the time we get there, right? Well, we get at the truck and they're not there. So we get in the vehicle, we drive to the second parking. They're not there. So my husband gets out and he says, I'll go in the trail to cut them off, and then we'll meet you again at where we actually parked. So he says, you go up there in case they come out there, like in case they turned around and realized. So I go back, I go at the end of the trail, like where we get out, and every few minutes I would say, Kate, Josh, Pat, and then I would whistle, because somehow I knew that my daughter would recognize my whistle. So I would whistle, and then every person that would get out of the trail, I would say, did you see 3 young adults? And at this time, it's like 5 something. So darkness is going to creep in soon, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to the rangers and say that we lost our kids. So anyway, this was like a good half hour. My heart was starting to pound. I know they were older, but still, like, there's a lot of bears and that kind of stuff. So all of a sudden I whistle and my daughter yells out, we're coming, Mom. And I'm like, oh. So when so that's the story that I'm going to say here. Okay, sorry, my husband went in the kitchen. We're still working from home, so went to get breakfast. So I had to let him know that I'm doing real time. I like that little leaf right there. So I forgot where I was now. So anyway, I whistled. She said, we're coming. So I was like, oh, my heart. But I have to say, when they came out of the trail, I went, why didn't you wait? I was so afraid. So anyway, we all had a good laugh. It was quite the adventure. And it's like everything else. I always tell my kids, when things go wrong, like, it's stressful at the time, but later on, like once everything's settled and everything, like, that's just stories to tell. I want to put that I love these. They're digital journaling files that you can print at home. I have them in my shop. And so you print it on an 8.5 by 11, and then you can use it, whatever size you need. And that's what I love. Okay. So on our shop, we have a whole bunch of stuff now. We have the viewfinders, we have the labels, we have journaling labels, we have the journaling cards. Last week, which I haven't had a chance to talk about them. I don't even know if I have any here. They're somewhere. But we have labels, and these are coming out today. Labels with polka dots, but there's regular labels. I only printed half the sheet. And then we have some frames, and there's going to be frames with polka dots coming out today or tomorrow too. Oh, and that reminds me, I was going to send out an email, but the sale is going to end on Sunday. So all the digital files and all the classes are going back up to regular price Monday. There. Yeah, I kind of like that. I didn't want to see the birds on the background. So I'm just going to do this. I don't know if I want to put that there. Oh, it kind of says it twice. Actually, I can. So I'm going to maybe not use that. And maybe I'll use the happy days instead. Yeah. And I think I'll put it there. I like how it does that. And it gets rid of that awkward space. And the class that I'm working on right now, that's what the class is about embellishing and all the clusters and everything. Okay, so I like this little frame. I have a frame here, so I'm going to try to use, and I have a frame there. So I'm just going to put this little frame just like that, just to add another layer to my embellishment cluster. I don't know if I want to use this one. Yeah, I mean, it's just a leftover, so we might as well use it up. Okay. In full bloom. I don't think I need to use that. I have another frame here, but I don't think I'm going to use that. So those 4 pieces is what I have left. I'm going to grab some enamel dots. I'm loving that I did this. It was quite a bit of work to get these done, but I really love, it took me a few hours to get all these ready, but now, like, I would spend, 10 minutes all the time looking for a color to do for enamel dots. And now it's like, I just pull this out, whatever color I want, and it's done. All right, this is going to be the last step. I'm not going to add any splatters or anything. I kind of like it clean like this. But I think what I'm going to do is I have this Distress Stain Chip Sapphire, and I'm just going to add, instead of mounting it on some cardstock, what I started doing, a lot of times I would be using the inside of my 12 by 12 to mat my photo. But I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and you can tell my voice is still kind of goes in and out. Excuse me. And so I have a ton of 8.5 by 11. So I need to use that up. Like, it needs to get out of my stash. And I don't want to just get rid of it. I can use it. So I've been using my, excuse me, I've been using my 8.5 by 11. So I don't want to waste a full sheet to mat that. So I'm just going to add some color to the outside. So that's it. That's going to complete this layout. And again, a reminder, the classes and all the embellishments will no longer be on sale as of Monday. And my new class is going to come out next week, and it has to do with embellishment. So it's called Demystifying Clustering 2. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Bye.